$1 billion from selling your logistics company leaves you handling one mundane family office errand. Rain drives you under a faded school crest, and an old brass bell coughs above the cracked quad. A stranded scholarship applicant waits by the locked library, so the school intrudes before any broker calls. The cracked stones mean land, license, alumni memory, and child safeguarding liability in one parcel. You step inside before rain turns curiosity into price. Your key opens the old library for the applicant with the worn backpack. The backpack drips beside rare books while you learn the child missed the last bus. A school worth saving protects the child with no driver. The library dust stops feeling like heritage. You buy hot supper, and the allergy charts decide what the kitchen can serve. Parent complaint letters reach your hand after a dorm pupil names the fear after lights out. The nightlight outside the house parent's flat exposes chipped wardrobes, duty logs, and weak supervision. Your thumb separates letters about bullying, medicine errors, and unanswered calls. Boarding revenue dies when parents believe the dorm corridor lies. You demand archive disciplinary files before any offer. Inspection reports lie open while house banners hang above empty assembly benches. Your buyer's lawyer reads safeguarding warnings aloud, and you reject the land-only valuation. Buying the school means buying accreditation history, staff contracts, debts, and old failures. The empty benches now look expensive. Your offer covers the school, not the fantasy campus. In the alumni archive, founders' letters surround the signed transfer while you commit about $60 million. The purchase takes a slice of your fortune, leaving capital for dorms, labs, teachers, and losses. Your pen pauses beside yellowing photographs of pupils who trusted the crest before decline. The founder's letters make the money feel borrowed. You keep rebuilding cash in reserve. Stone cleaners uncover the founder's crest, and you refuse a billionaire name over the arch. Your mason leaves the old cuts visible, since serious teachers distrust vanity campuses built for heirs. The restored crest says the school will educate inherited power under standards. Alumni stop calling the purchase a demolition. Across the oak desk, a reform head reads old pupil registers before accepting your offer. You grant hiring, discipline, and inspection independence while the head refuses donor interference. A head of school sells credibility to parents, inspectors, universities, and faculty before tuition sells rooms. The old registers stay between you. You buy authority by giving authority away. You rebuild reporting flowcharts before marble. Sleep charts give every child a named adult and a parent rhythm. Your palm tests the biometric outer door in the renovated boarding house. The model house has fire systems, acoustic privacy, a house parent flat, study nooks, prayer space, and working laundry. Families pay premium boarding only after a parent can touch safety. The common kitchen wins more trust than marble. You lock the curriculum to assessment rules universities understand. La Rosey prospectuses sit in the parent's salon while translators whisper beside foundation brochures. Dynastic families tell you old Swiss names carry safer social proof than a repaired school. Your admissions director hears the hesitation and stops selling facilities. Prestige has incumbents. You recruit examiners who put Olympiad problem sheets in front of rich students. The mathematics teacher has marked real papers, so parent pressure cannot turn weak work into top grades. Your richest applicant sweats over graphing calculators under unsmiling proofs. Universities trust transcripts when teachers refuse grade inflation. The classroom gets harder after money arrives. You restore house banners, so status loses public contests. Your wall map gains advisor pins from Lagos to Shanghai. Enrollment deposits wait until families see safety, academics, and rules. Translation headsets support language entry without lowering assessment rules. Under HIM boards, you open the first lecture of the Responsibility Institute. The course studies failed heirs, scandals, philanthropy, succession fights, media risk, and unearned power. Your head calls the course academic armor against finishing school suspicion. The bell shadow crosses the lectern. Parents start asking about character, not tennis courts. Financial aid forms sit on the plain table while you face a nervous applicant. You fund boarding, equipment,
travel, and mentoring because tuition relief alone leaves poor students stranded. The scholarship cohort keeps classrooms honest and stops billionaire children from living in a sealed aquarium. Your bursar swallows the cost.
Scholarship is margin spent on reputation. Old uniforms and rowing oars frame the archive as LaRosie keeps another old-world family. Their advisor chooses familiar mythology over your rebuilt rules. You take the loss without copying the Swiss ritual machine. Known prestige beats better intentions early. A donor pledge form lands beside the scholarship folder after a scholarship student wins captaincy. You refuse the donor's demand to reverse the vote. The head's jaw tightens, but the room hears the rule survive. Money can buy entry only while the child earns standing. The pledge leaves with the parent. You enforce Common App deadlines behind a locked transcript cabinet. A draft personal statement arrives with adult fingerprints under the red pen. Your counselor refuses the essay, while a famous family threatens calls to trustees. One ghost-written application can poison university trust for whole cohorts. You back the counselor in the college counseling office. The parent's silence costs money. Capstones face public defense beside student-built devices. Faculty grievances reach your hand before teacher burnout spreads through the common room. You fund faculty flats because elite boarding runs on adults who stay near children after dinner. Half-eaten biscuits sit beside unmarked exam scripts, while a department head names 3 exhausted tutors. Higher salaries help less than housing, sabbaticals, and sane boarding duty. Teachers need a life near the school. Student research posters replace drone views in the science building. Angry old pupils gather under founder letters while you reopen the alumni archive. One alumnus points at the war memorial list and asks whether money can repair neglect. You answer by funding bursaries in the old school's name. The archive shifts from accusation to witness. Their approval cannot be bought in one afternoon. Visitor badges keep family office machinery outside classrooms. The grand piano exposes heirs who must rehearse without assistance. Your science head places robotics benches near locked chemical stores and student notebooks. The new STEM wing earns attention through competition results, lab habits, and research discipline. Safety goggles hang unused until a pupil proves the bench matters. Equipment without student work is expensive theater. A resignation letter waits among unmarked exam scripts in the faculty common room. You open too many parent channels, and the house parent absorbed midnight demands from assistants. The beloved house parent leaves before the next term. Continuity breaks harder than budget. Your apology cannot hire back trust. Duty rotations replace concierge call sheets in the renovated house. Gap year advice starts alumni support before the fee stops. Summer institutes become assessed gateways on the running track. Rain-soaked packs line the sports fields while private jet children prepare for the first expedition. You send heirs into supervised difficulty with muddy boots, shared loads, and no entourage. The rugby posts make status useless for an hour. Repeated hard tasks build culture faster than comfort trips. Inspectors review reporting flowcharts beside the safeguarding office tissue box. You stand behind the counselor's sofa while the lead inspector tests child protection routes with staff. The accreditation report praises boarding safety, safeguarding records, and academic control. No donation purchased the sentence. Waiting list calls begin the same week. Passport scans pile in admissions, while Geneva pins cluster toward LaRosie. Several families delay after hearing your rules on parent control and discipline. Your team feels momentum leak across the wall map. The rival sells certainty. Your school sells proof under pressure. You accept assessment weekends, not copycat campuses. Foundation brochures stay closed while parents hear boundaries through translators. Portfolio tables fill the art studio as final-year students prepare stewardship defenses. Each portfolio must show academic work, service, failure, leadership, and a spoken pledge about inherited power. Your faculty reject polished speeches that dodge responsibility. The charcoal walls make excuses look thin. The leaving right becomes harder to fake than an exam. A confiscated phone sits by the duty log after a famous donor child breaches dorm rules. You enter the corridor and hear the closed door before any lawyer calls. The safeguarding lead names the harmed pupil, the evidence, and the required sanction. Spending cannot repair a rule broken in private. You discipline the donor child. In the parents' salon, staff remove donor wall mock-ups tied to the lost building fund. The promised building gift disappears while the donor's lawyers threaten press and withdrawal. Your head waits beside the empty wall, knowing faculty will judge the next sentence. You choose the rule over the building. The school loses millions and gains a story students can believe. La Rosie takes the fleeing family while your gatehouse processes the cars. Under house flags, your hand reaches the brass bell for crisis assembly. The bell sound stops parent whispers faster than any lawyer's letter. Your head reads the disciplinary apologies aloud, naming harm before status. Backing the head in public costs donations, but it buys faculty belief. Beside the tissue box, you protect the counselor's standard from hush money. Rejected families still apply after your admissions room demands language tests. Your admissions director slides Riyadh and Mumbai forms toward you, with no promise of entry. Powerful parents hate waiting lists because waiting lists prove the school has another buyer. The thickest file stays closed. Scarcity pays only when rejection looks clean. Alumni return to long tables and test your culture against memory. Midnight essays keep former pupils mentoring after the tuition stops. Inside the archive, you approve named scholarships beside the rowing oars. The bursary names sit among old uniforms, so gift money feels attached to duty. A school that can fund a child without pleasing a parent can say no later. Your finance chief swallows the delayed surplus. Faculty chairs come before owner extraction. College counselors line university viewbooks beside UCAS forms and SAT calendars for the placement cohort. Your counselor taps the transcript rules before any parent hears a famous university name. Universities trust patterns, not one glittering acceptance. The first cohort's offers prove the diploma travels across borders without explanation. On the graduation lawn, you make families hear stewardship portfolios before destinations. A tech heir reads failure from his own page, with translators silent behind the chairs. La Rosie sells inherited mythology. Your graduates speak in earned voices before teachers who mark them hard. The rival loses the room. School magazines stop calling the place a billionaire school. The head reads ledger names across billionaire parents and scholarship families alike. Your thumb rests near the handwritten admissions ledger as the first scholarship graduate rises. The old ledger once recorded unpaid fees. Now it gives equal weight to each name. Billionaire parents hear their children listed beside borrowed suits and do not interrupt. Equality becomes procedure. Below the chapel bell, you accept endowment donations with independence written into the gift terms. The donor language forbids admissions favors, grade pressure, and private control of teachers. Your lawyers dislike the slow money. A school that earns lasts longer than a school that extracts early. House scarves cross the restored quad under the cleaned arch. Your shoes hit the same cracked stones where rain once made the school look finished. A royal cousin walks without bodyguards beside a scholarship mathematician with muddy boots. The restored arch is a threshold now, and money waits outside. The founder's crest enters the rule book beside the archived disciplinary files. Geneva families interview for fit before their family offices talk terms. At the gatehouse, you refuse the Dubai entourage's classroom control demand. Visitor badges pile in the driver waiting area while your security chief repeats the parent protocol. A bodyguard asks for teacher access. Your registrar points to the same rules given to ordinary families. Serving powerful families pays only if their machinery stops at the classroom door. The entourage leaves loud. Boarding fees rise only where staff ratios, nurses, and food justify the premium. Your counselor returns a recommendation draft with the parent's sentence crossed out. The locked transcript cabinet matters because universities punish schools that send polished lies. One fake activity can poison a counselor's name for years. Clean recommendations protect future students who have done the work. Old pupils fund bursaries after yellowing photographs remind them who saved them. London advisors arrive with prospectuses and old school names in their mouths. Your admissions head gives them inspection evidence, scholarship results, and university outcomes before mineral water appears. Advisors sell trust to families, so advisors punish schools that hide weak boarding. The room changes tone. You back the head against donor roommate demands pinned on the corridor notice board. House banners flank the assembly as the first triumph tests discipline again. Your head requires disciplinary apologies from winners, captains, and scholarship pupils under the same rules. Applause waits until the apology ends. Prestige sticks when punishment survives success. Singapore briefings become assessed applications, with language forms before charm. Summer Institute brochures sell a taste, not a boarding place. In admissions, you face the empty leather chairs after impatient families choose La Rosie. The wall map still shows Riyadh pins beside lost deposits and unanswered calls. Old certainty beats repaired courage for some dynasties. You do not chase them. Stamped inspection reports answer rival prestige better than another brochure. Riyadh students enter through security protocol before house placement begins. Your nurse marks sleep charts while parents ask about grades. The medication logs show migraines, panic attacks, and homesickness before any university offer matters. A boarding school loses trust at night before it loses trust in class. Wellness funding pays by preventing the phone call no parent forgives. Borrowed suits stand beside the perimeter as scholarship leaders take prizes. Hong Kong families sit through mathematics before admission smiles. Your master teacher places Olympiad problem sheets on the desks and leaves the room quiet. The proofs expose students who bought tutoring without stamina. Rigorous mathematics becomes a filter for ambition, not a decoration for brochures. You give the head authority over hiring, even when parents lobby. In the black box, you fund the arts pathway around a grand piano. A finance heir misses the first note and starts again under the director's hand. Performance strips away entourage faster than any lecture on humility. The school's excellence widens when applause must be earned in public. New York skepticism becomes useful when SAT calendars meet hard coursework. Inside safeguarding, you take the leaked phone screen from the student lead. The tissue box sits between the harmed pupil and the encrypted case file. Privacy is not a luxury service here. Privacy is child protection. You discipline the leak before families decide the campus cannot hold secrets. Child protection binders teach discretion is duty, not surveillance. Mumbai applications arrive because transcript records travel cleanly to universities. Your bursar separates expedition travel forms from fee folders during admissions. Airport transfers, exam fees, and trips can feel like traps if billed one by one. Bundled extras protect the premium price from looking petty. Rich parents still resent being nickel and dimed. Student research posters earn recognition outside the science building. Returned alumni face the rowing oars and answer La Rosie's old story. Your head lets them speak about saved teachers, failed houses, and the repair they doubted. Living witnesses beat inherited mythology because witnesses can be questioned. The archive turns rival nostalgia into testimony. Lagos applicants enter as future leaders, not decorative internationals. Laundry bags and noodle bowls make house equality harder to fake. The resignation letter lies beside unmarked scripts, and you call the head in. Teachers are not replaceable inputs in a boarding school. Teachers are the memory students trust. Higher salary helps, but burnout also lives in midnight duty and parent pressure. Your head asks for relief before more adults leave. Faculty flats rise by the sports fields before another resignation wave. You open the Sao Paulo file and leave the assessment papers closed. The family can pay full boarding, fund a lab, and fill a table at every dinner. Academic fit still comes first. A closed folder costs revenue and protects the classroom. A legal policy brief faces alumni judges, and capstones start to matter. Your advancement director brings donor wall mock-ups, but you cross out every admissions favor. The parent salon goes quiet around the unsigned foundation brochures. One gift can build a scholarship place. One condition can poison a transcript. You send the donor wall back for names tied to bursaries only. Parent complaint letters pile near the tarnished bell. Slower growth wins. Translators repeat faculty questions, and golf entitlement meets the admissions bar. Scholarship folders stack under Shanghai pins as the first waiting list forms. You take the top folder and refuse the shortcut of extra seats. Scarcity pays only when families believe rejection is real. Admissions staff breathe for the first time. The waiting list becomes proof of standards, not overflow inventory. A student-built device must work under load before donors applaud. A donor pledge form lands beside a worn backpack after scholarship winners take prizes. You place the pledge form face down and ask who earned the captaincy. The scholarship applicant's backpack stays on the plain table during the argument. Full-fee parents can fund buildings, but they cannot buy the ranking inside a house. Your head does not move the prize. House banners hang above the scholarship announcement as whispers run through the chapel. You stand beside the head while the captaincy goes to the strongest student. A withdrawn pledge costs money today. A bent rule costs every dorm tomorrow. Donor whispers stop before the applause starts. The house system gets its first legend. Shanghai families choose the robotics benches after students defend real code. The nightlight outside the house parents' flat gets funded before more beds. Seminar chairs face the house flags while parents learn the boundary. Your head names anxiety, succession pressure, addiction risk, and university panic in plain language. A billionaire father reaches for the microphone. You leave the teacher assignments off the agenda. Parent education pays when parents stop treating the school as hired staff. Silicon Valley parents accept AI ethics notes only after the work gets harder. UCAS forms pass under the counselor's red pen as the first cohort aims outward. You back the counselor when a famous surname earns a safer college list. University trust grows through accurate transcripts, clean recommendations, and no inflated activities. The red pen stays busy. Recognized offers arrive without selling the school's honesty. Empty ski lockers mark dynastic families choosing Swiss winter tradition. You walk the sports fields and count the lost names without blaming the admissions team. La Rosie keeps old-world certainty, winter rituals, and dynastic comfort. That loss hurts revenue. A school for inherited power cannot chase every inheritance. Rugby posts frame scholarship captains drilling billionaire heirs. Internship guidelines start the graduate network before the fee stops. Your chef plates dinner while you study the kitchen pass from the staff side. Operating surplus belongs behind food, nurses, heating, and the adults who hold the campus together. Small classes eat margin before any owner return. Children from every time zone still need supper on time. Miami families accept boarding when weekend schedules fill before sofas. A draft personal statement comes back with adult fingerprints under red ink. You call the family office before the university hears a rumor. Ghost-written essays do not create better applicants. They create a school universities stop trusting. The counselor's hand shakes once. You protect the red pen. Academic honesty policy goes public after refused grade inflation. Case study packets turn public purpose into the school's signature course. You sit among worn leather chairs while students dissect fortunes that ruin their heirs. The course names foundations, succession fights, scandals, and public duties without flattering family money. A rich child closes the packet. Power becomes homework inside the old library. Passport scans win Johannesburg trust when safety and credentials match. The safe door opens, and archived disciplinary files come out beside cricket photographs. Your head names the famous child, the breach, and the consequence without asking for cover. A donor's lawyer waits outside the oak door. You give the head the room. Clean expulsion costs less than secret compromise. Building fund cards remain untouched as the promised gift disappears. Your finance chief totals the lost theater wing without asking to soften the discipline. A building gift can vanish in one phone call. Teacher belief takes years to rebuild. Mineral water sweats beside withdrawn brochures. You choose the rules. Faculty read union notices as you absorb the donor rage. The brass school bell rings above the disciplinary apology. You stand in the assembly hall while the child's name stays private. The apology names harm, process, and consequence without turning discipline into theater. Students look up at the bell. A lost gift becomes the story teachers repeat to new staff. Route maps stop at one campus line. Muddy boots beat inherited comfort after rain-soaked packs cross the track. Maintenance panels open near laundry while heating pipes swallow another surplus. You pay the engineers before the owner account receives a cent. Boarding margin looks large from outside. Winter heat, repairs, and night staffing eat the fantasy. The laundry room hums through the bill. Fixed costs buy trust before profit. Safeguarding logs earn accreditation praise for boarding culture. The visitor book waits under the clean arch as Lausanne parents step into the quad. You do not sell them a branch, a villa, or a winter imitation. Swiss families know old names, so faculty answers must beat architecture. A cautious mother touches the restored crest. The comparison becomes serious. Translation headsets support language bridges without lowering the oral exam. A confiscated phone reaches the safeguarding office after a dorm humiliation. You enter the closed-door corridor and order the incident treated as a trust rupture. Luxury bathrooms mean nothing if a child fears lights out. The shaken student keeps the counselor's sofa. The boarding house loses its easy story. Incident forms and consequences rebuild safety from the infirmary outward. The biometric outer door opens toward a soft common room, and parents mistake hardware for safety. You point to duty logs, counselor access, and house-parent ratios before room finishes. Security equipment can block strangers. Adults must stop cruelty between students. The door clicks behind you. Safety becomes behavior recorded nightly. Broken catalog drawers go as the library becomes a midnight workroom. Costume racks draw Los Angeles families towards serious rehearsals. Stage tape marks the floor while heirs rehearse beside scholarship actors. You sit behind the director and refuse special casting notes from parents. The theater review praises timing, diction, and risk taken on stage. No family office can perform a monologue for a child. Scholarship actors bow beside heirs. Rival brochures stay folded when crest rubbings become a values test. The scoreboard makes status irrelevant for one hard hour. Enrollment deposits sit beneath financial aid notes as scholarships become operating strategy. You price every full bursary with boarding, travel, equipment, and tutoring included. Partial charity flatters donors. Full support lets a student compete. The admissions team protects the cohort size. Scholarships keep classrooms alive and prevent a sealed rich kid aquarium. Custody forms pass the gatehouse under strict confidentiality discipline. The capacity chart stays pinned beside inspection reports as the head vetoes intake. You tap the chart once and cancel the profitable extra places. More beds without house parents turn revenue into risk. The head takes the blame from parents. You take the lost income. Portfolio tables push art beyond display work. Recording equipment earns conservatory respect through student work. The wellness director opens mental health files beside you before one panic attack becomes a parent revolt. Your thumb stops on 3 students flagged for sleep collapse after scholarship pressure and family security drama. Counseling capacity is boarding capacity. A school can charge top fees only while nurses, counselors, and house parents catch trouble before corridors do. You fund counselors as boarding's core product beside the safeguarding sofa. The bursar brings the operating loss ledger into the headmaster's office, and you leave the tarnished bell untouched. Losses grow while standards rise, since small classes and resident staff cost money before reputation pays back. The ledger stays closed. Owner profit comes last in a serious school, or parents start smelling extraction around their children. A Mexico City interview folder turns scholarship visibility into admissions demand. You pin the service calendar under hymn boards until public work repeats every term. Civic partners get real dates, named supervisors, and student duties that cannot be skipped for ski weekends. Ceremony dies without repetition. An alumnus meets you under founder portraits and offers the first major library gift with no admissions condition. Your development chief waits for the condition, but the alumnus names books, bursaries, and repair instead of a child. The room goes still. Unconditional gifts change the power balance because donors fund the mission without buying the rules. Shenzhen musicians enter through the language bridge and the oral exam booth. Under the science building fume hoods, you tell the physics team to make prizes harder than purchase. The pendulums swing beside student posters while examiners ask for method, failed trials, and clean lab notes. No parent can buy a result. Science earns respect when outside judges can trace the work to the student's hands. Subject development grants leave coffee-stained envelopes in the faculty common room. The New York folder stays closed while you refuse a famous family after the waiting list rises. Admissions staff expect celebration, but the head reads the child's record and asks whether the dorm can trust him. You refuse the shortcut. Scarcity earns premium fees only when the school rejects families who would poison the house. The assembly microphone carries one rule: fit outranks fame. Private bankers respect the confidentiality protocol after assistants wait outside. Former pupils clip return weekend lanyards beside you in the archive and sort uniforms they once hated. One alumnus lifts a torn house scarf and names the teacher who kept him in school. Old anger becomes useful. Return weekends turn memory into retention because graduates give time before they give money. Annual giving cards let alumni gifts outgrow parent leverage in the dining hall. Alumni face students in the renovated boarding house while panel microphones pass from sofa to sofa. A graduate says the rules felt harsh until university made easier rules look childish. Students lean forward. First, graduates judge the culture better than brochures because they know which habits survived after fees stopped. Beneath house banners, you give the first violin prize to the scholarship musician over the dynastic favorite. La Rosie keeps some old-world families, but your chapel earns the harder whisper from consultants. The rivals' parents stiffen. Rules beat prestige only when children see the rule hurt someone powerful and still hold. Archive boxes preserve stewardship portfolios beside founder letters in the old library. The maintenance schedule beats marble vanity in the boarding house corridor. Discipline news breaks, and the waiting list cards remain untouched in the admissions room. You expect withdrawals, but 3 consultants ask whether the expulsion standard applies to everyone. The cards do not move. A waiting list has value only when families believe a place can still be lost. The head places the Independence Charter beside old pupil registers, and you take the pen last. Your lawyers hate the clause that blocks you from overruling discipline, admissions, or academic results. You sign anyway. The charter costs control today, but the school gains the right to say no after you are gone. The head takes the bell rope in the restored quad while you stand behind the students. No donor asks why the owner is not ringing the old brass school bell. The head pulls once. Authority has moved from your fortune to the institution you paid to protect. Security stays behind white chairs while translators whisper on the graduation lawn. Graduates take pledge cards before alumni, scholarship parents, and billionaire families on the lawn. Each student speaks without a handler, naming work, failure, service, and the power waiting at home. Parents listen differently. The school's product is the child who can answer for privilege in a public room. Arabic poetry keeps the old library alive past midnight. You cross the cracked stone paths of the restored quad as families wait under the clean crest. The institution you bought for about $60 million is worth about $3 billion in trust, land, endowment, and demand. No one calls you a buyer. The same rain-dark quad where the neglected school first interrupted your errand now opens only to children who earn the bell.